was talking about this gentleman who had ALS. And then we sing a song saying, the Lord has promised good to me. Sounds a bit contradictory in a way, doesn't it? But you know, what the Lord has promised is not that we will have everything easy in this world. The problem is people today are taught that God doesn't really matter at all. That we're all just accidents. We're all just matters of people, of things that have changed over time by mutation into what we are at present. But over 3,000 years ago, David said in Psalm 139 that I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In Ephesians 2, Paul put it just a bit different. For he said, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus. You know, when these were written, I don't think people had any idea exactly how fearfully and wonderfully we are made. Yes. We were down 2 weeks ago to see the Bodyworks exhibit in Halifax. And some of the statistics, some of the facts put forward were mind-boggling, to say the least. You often hear the phrase that I'm not the person I used to be. That's literally true. Except for some cells in the brain and the nervous system and the heart. Every cell in your body is different than it was 7 years ago. Every cell changes over, dies, and is replaced. In fact, just while I was saying that, hundreds of thousands of cells in each one of your bodies died. We make something like 300 million new cells every day, comprising the 75 to 100 trillion cells in our body. Each one is changed frequently. We have a system, a circulatory system that was discovered, so to speak, by William Harvey back in the 1500s. That the blood circulated through the body. Now back in Leviticus, God said that the life was in the blood. All flesh is in the blood. It's been said that if you take the blood vessels in a human body, anyone here, and laid them all out in one line, that there are over 60,000 miles of blood vessels in your body. Enough to go around the world at least twice. And fearfully and wonderfully made. There are hundreds of millions of nerve cells in the brain. And if you took the brain and spread it out, it would cover an area of 16 square feet. But it's all curled up into that little mass between your ears. Hundreds of millions of nerve cells, each one with 10,000 connections to other nerve cells. But not one actually connects. There's a space between every nerve cell called a synapse. The nerve transmission is by little chemicals that are produced on the end of one nerve and transmitted to the other through the space. They did a calculation, a rough calculation, of the number of chemical reactions that take place in your body. And they came up with a number of 27 times 10 to the 27th power. Chemical reactions that take place in your body every second. every second. Blood cells are one of the smaller chemical reactors. They have 100,000 reactions every second to transmit blood, oxygen through your system. Marvelously and fearfully made. It's amazing that we live as long as we do. Not that we have the illnesses that we have. And yet we abuse this system so much. Don't get enough rest, don't get the right food, put chemicals into it we're not supposed to, eat too much, eat too little, eat the wrong things. And yet every second, all these chemical reactions are taking place, most of the case seamlessly, without ever knowing it. Every time a particle of light hits your eyes, there are 20 chemical reactions that take place so you can see that particle of light. Fearfully and wonderfully made. And then God says we are His workmanship. Because workmanship, the Greek word for workmanship, is called parera, which means a poem. We are God's poem, His artwork, created to do good things. Now, if you believe academia today, where we're just a result of evolution, we're not created for anything. We're just here, by chance, by luck, for a short period, and then we die, and that's it. But God says we're created in Christ for good works. In Colossians, it puts this way, for in Him were all things created, in the heavens and upon the earth, things visible and things invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things have been created through Him and for Him, for His works, for His pleasure, for His purpose. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. If people only realized how true that was. If we only realized how true that was, that would really be something we should all think about.